Welcome to the Recruiter Startup Podcast. I'm joined here by Kate Fennelly from Aircoo. How are you, Kate?
Not bad at all. Great to be here. Organised about 10 minutes ago.
Very good. Okay, Kate. I've come over to interview your boss, Dara, but you're much more interesting. And people in the market are starting to say, it's Kate's company. How does that make you feel?
Don't say that to him.
Let's speak in the microphone a little bit.
Edit that out. No, I think, I suppose I'm probably one of the longest people in the business. So yeah, I think probably makes sense.
So tell me, how long have you been in recruitment for?
3.5 years, maybe slightly over actually.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
3.5 years, and this has been your only recruitment job.
Yeah.
Wow. And how'd you get into it?
It's a funny one. So there's kind of two parts to the story. Well, I have a degree in hospitality management, so I've only kind of ever worked in customer facing roles. Starting in retail, working in food and beverage, retail management, more kind of the corporate side of food and bev. Big into that, so I suppose that's probably the reason I kind of stayed in that line of business for a while. But a friend of mine who studied the same course as me actually, and when she came back from New York, she met up with a recruitment firm in Dublin, and she came back from doing 80-hour weeks in Manhattan, and they spoke to her and they said, look, would you think about going into recruitment? And she was like, didn't think about it, but tell me a bit more. So they were like, look, it's Monday to Friday, 40 hours a week. And she was like, sold, don't tell me anything more. She'd worked every Christmas since she was 18. So she got into recruitment. And I remember I was in my last year of college at the time, but I was really interested in what she was doing. So I remember I asked her about it a lot, and I was like, so how's it going at the start? She was like, Kate, I have Saturdays off, like I can go for lunch and blah blah blah. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Were you working in hospitality the whole way through?
Yeah, I was in food and beverage mainly, so all nights, weekends, Christmases, everything, waitressing, managing, I remember as the months went on, when I was asking her about it, she got a little bit less enthusiastic about it, and it was kind of like, yeah, it's pretty full on. And then towards the end, she was like, Kate, I hate it. It's not for me. She was like, everyone is there to make money. Everyone is, you never know what way your day starts or begins. It's all about sales, it's all about targets. And everything she was saying to me, I was like, that's a bit of me.
Yeah.
But now I suppose she's in a job where it's administration, it's organisation, she knows what she does all the time. I would hate that personally. So
I would hate it too.
Yeah, not something that I suppose where my strengths are, just something I don't like.
So you knew to go into recruitment after your degree straight away?
No, I think I stayed in retail and food and beverage because I suppose that was something I was interested in. And what I got away from a lot of, well, not pure weekend work, but I kind of got better working hours. I was working more daytime, and I suppose then I got to a stage where I was progressing quickly within that industry, but also knew that my earning capability firstly was
not great.
Yeah,
I did it for a long time as well.
And I suppose my last Christmas in food and beverage or retail, I was working till 10 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve, and I was in on Stephen's Estate 7 in the morning, and I remember messaging into my girls group going, no, I'm not doing this next year, I'm having Christmas off like you guys. And I kind of felt, I suppose I'm running someone else's business, I'm putting blood, sweat and tears into this, because I suppose that's what I do in any job I do. I work hard, and I kind of felt, okay, if I ever do this again, it's for me and it's my business, or I'm out. So then a friend of mine had started with Walker or Sterling Anderson previously, Urku turned from Sterling, I should say, into Urku, and he actually was trying to sell it to my brother who was in sales at the time. And I was like, what about me? And he kind of said, would you think about it? And I said, yeah, I definitely would. I have thought about it. He said, look, come in for a chat with Dara. And then the rest is history.
And the nature of the business, of every recruitment business, whether people admit it or not, is that 1 in 3 might survive in an 18-month period. And you guys in a startup mode were no different. How did you survive and the other two not?
Well, again, a couple of things I would say is that firstly, I took a big salary cut. When I say big, I mean, for me it was big at the time.
Yeah.
I had a degree in a field that I'd worked in, so I felt when I was going into this that I was like, right, Kate, you've now changed your whole career.
What age were you?
I was 27.
Okay, right, so it's time to get kind of serious,
it was sink or
right?
swim, like get in and
I was 27 when I got in.
Yeah, so I kind of felt I was a little bit older than some people who might have starting in recruitment, but I also didn't have kids, didn't have a mortgage, didn't have dependents. It was a time that I could take a risk, but I also kind of felt, look, you know, if you're leaving what you've studied and done your whole life, make it work. So I kind of put myself under a bit of pressure, I think.
Do you still do that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Every day?
Yes.
How do you mitigate that? How do you manage that? You're going to tell me badly?
Darren manages me. No, do you know what? I suppose I have always probably been hard work, and I always want to, you know, I remember my first year in the Anderson partnership, and we kind of had this, you know, the year, and they were kind of the top 10 people in the business, and I was like, I want to be there next year. And I just had it in my head. I was like, I want to be there next year. I think I was 49 in my first year, and then I was like 2 in my second year. So
who was number one?
I don't know, one of the girls in Australia. I should know, but I was 2 or 3, I think, in my second year. But I just had my eyes on the prize, was that, and I kind of felt, look, it's doable.
Do you think that's an obsessive thing that you have?
Yeah, a little bit.
Would you think about it all the time?
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is...
You're like my only female listener.
No, I don't think so.
You're my man. You know?
No, do you know what it is? I think the work I came from was, I'm a people pleaser. Like, you know, and I think in this... you're people pleasing everyone, so you've got candidates, clients, and everything in between, that you're like trying to make all the pieces, bring all the pieces together. And I think that's something, you know, when in my first job in customer service, I was always the person that went to I took a complaint, I was like, I'm going to turn this around, this is for me. And the hardest person to deal with, I was like, I'll take it, you know. I think it was, I don't know, a bit of a dog with a bone.
How long did it take you to get good at it?
I would say I took to it pretty quickly. The one thing I would say when I first started, what frustrated me was that, because again, I'm big into customer service, inside, outside work, everything. And I suppose one thing that frustrated me was not knowing. I specialise in accountancy and finance, and not knowing what an accountant does. And I kind of felt, I feel like I'm spoofing. I don't know what I'm talking about. But then I quickly learned that I don't need to be an accountant to do this. I just have to understand where they fit and why, and what makes sense. And from the client's point of view is what they want and why, and make those two pieces fit. But at the start, that was certainly something that frustrated me, is kind of feeling like, but how do I know, you know? But I think I was shocked that within 4 or 5 weeks I knew what I was talking about. So it was a really quick learning curve, I think. Maybe having dealt with people and in working in customer service my whole life, it was a bit quicker. But yeah, and I think another thing, I suppose, I started with the business when we were relatively new. So, you know, when I first came in, no one really knew who we were at the start. So I suppose every role that...
No, it's Kate's company.
No, it's mine. No, it's her coup. No, but...
To quote another client.
But I suppose when I first came in, the role... what I think is the roles that we were getting on were probably ones that other firms weren't filling, and we were getting a chance on roles. And I suppose I genuinely think that's why I've been successful, because I suppose my thing has always been, make it really easy for the client, so next time they're hiring, they think of me.
What's success to you now?
I think what I really get my kicks out of, honestly, is placing the right person in the right job. You know, knowing it works, and seeing someone do well in a company. Like, what I love is like placing someone in a business and then they hire again on their team, and I'm the one that helps them. And it just, you know, knowing that someone has gone into a business, they've developed, and now they're hiring around them, like, you know, to be able to see that happen is really great.
And what motivates you?
What motivates me?
Let me rephrase it. You're being a rector, we look at people at what stage of the career they've been, and I've been in the stage that you're in right now, and that's a pivotal point where you're like, I'm the big builder in the room. Do I go down the management route? Do I go out and set up my own? Do I keep on going on this route? Do I set up a new desk? Like, how do you piece all that together and what you should do from this moment?
Okay, well, the management thing for me, I suppose, again, like before I got into this business, I managed a team of 65 people. I know I can manage a team if I want to, but I have no interest in that right now. I like billing, I like performing, I like knowing that. I suppose, again, another attraction to get into recruitment for me was the buck stops with me. My destiny is my own. You know, my previous job to this is dragging hungover teenagers around to try and get them through a day. You know, I like the fact that what I do, I benefit from. So I suppose that's why I haven't gone down the management route. I think I could, but you know, right now it doesn't make sense. But to me, I genuinely, what motivates me is filling jobs, is being given a job and filling it. And to be honest, sometimes that could be a junior job, sometimes it's senior, and I might get the same kick out of it, for want of a better word, but it's, you know, if I know that there's loads of other recruiters working on it and I'm the one that fills it, I'm like,
So we've established you're focused, obsessive, competitive.
Yeah, with myself, really, not really with other people.
Yeah, so are you a bit of an island?
Yeah, I'd say so, Is
that kind of like everybody else is up doing their KPIs and kids down doing podcasting?
No, you know what? I think I always wanted to. I said I could see myself running my own business. I come from a family. My dad owns his own business. I've always been really interested in hearing about people running a business, and I think I kind of look at this as my own thing. And I suppose my salary, my, you know, the billing, and I look at it as, right, these are my overheads and this is me then, you know, and I look at it, I take it really personally, and you know, even in the office and the people I work alongside, they're working for Urku. I want to hear them talking to candidates and clients in the right way because I also work for Urku, you know, and I think So
you're really successful because you're really good at control. That's what it sounds like. Like, you're good at controlling your process, your candidates, your clients. How do you deal with like the new people who are coming in and you're here and you're kind of hearing them talking like that? Do you have to kind of go, I'm going out to a client meeting now, or?
No, I'd say to them, you know, I'd have no problem saying, and I think I have tact. I'm not, you know, and people have said.
Charlotte has tact, don't you, Charlotte?
Zero tact.
No tact.
I think people upstairs might say otherwise. It depends what day you get me, but no, I think it's all for the greater good. Like, I would always say, you know,
the greater good of Kate.
Well, yeah, the greater good. No, I'd always, if I felt someone could benefit from advice, because I would always take it. I'm okay with being given advice, I think.
How does Dara manage you, given, like, you've made it pretty clear, I'm into money, I'm into this, I want this, I want this, but I'll give you this.
I think Dara has managed me better than anyone has managed me before. Not that I don't think I'm hard to manage, but Dara understands how in the business what motivates different people and what's important to them, and how to get the best out of someone. I naturally have really strong work ethic, so you know, he doesn't need to tell me to work harder. He needs to manage how I work sometimes, and I suppose that's I've learned a huge amount, and I think, you know, he will, in a really roundabout way, kind of point out things I can do better, and it definitely works. But I think what he's really given me is, like, I'm not 22 starting recruitment, I'm 32, and I think, you know, for me, working in an adult environment is really important, you know, like, sometimes it suits me to start later in the day and finish later in the day because I want to go to the gym in the morning, and to be honest, I actually work better a bit later in the day as well. I'm not a morning person, like, you know, when I was going away for a couple of weeks, I said to Dara, is it okay if I work over Easter? Like, I'm going to work the weekend, and you know, I'll be able to get loads of people on the phone, but I'll also save a few holiday days. You know, everyone's sitting at home and they'll answer the phone, and you know, he's like, absolutely, yeah, of course, why, you know, whatever works. So it's a really adult environment, and there's a lot of flexibility, but there's a lot of trust there, I think.
But that's earned.
100%, yeah. Like, I never walk away going, God, I feel guilty, I should have worked harder this week. You know, I think...
You know, I do. I do a lot.
But yeah, no, I think he definitely knows what motivates certain people, and for me, he knows it's the longer game and the big money, not the immediate wins. Yeah.
How do you see... How do you get from the point where you're at now, which is really good, to making really big money? Have you got the plan in your head?
No, and I suppose that's where, like, I mean, for me, because I think the area that I'm recruiting in, you know, there's only so much. There's only so far I can spread myself, and I don't know how.
As one person.
Person, yeah.
It's either get more people or go into a higher discipline area.
Like, I have Lisa in the office, works alongside me. She also does other stuff for the office as well, like you know, marketing and stuff, and she would help source on roles for me. But I suppose even that, I couldn't double what I do now, I don't think. Okay, I could go bigger fees, and but then there's slower processes, and I suppose I don't know. I mean. Yeah,
you haven't figured that out?
I haven't figured that out just yet, but I will.
I bet you will. So you've listened to the podcast a few times.
Yeah.
Have any of the guests inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, what I would really be interested in, and even when I kind of scroll through, I always look for women, firstly. Yeah. I do think that there's probably less women at a senior level in the business than men. But I've always been really interested in women who've been really successful in recruitment.
Do you know, it came up today again, because I had Elaine from Barbara, who was amazing. I struggle to get female guests to come on and tell their story.
Is that because there's less females? Okay.
No, just like, look, the guy set up a business, and he's done a couple of deals. He'll reach out to me. Let me come on. Like, I mean, and I will have to, like, I had to ask you 3 times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't know what it is. So
yeah, it's funny because I suppose like that's who I'm interested in hearing from.
Yeah. Well, my wife, I can't get her on. And
nope. Yeah, but no one wants to hear us talk to each other about stuff. We need a guest, like a guest podcast interviewer to interview me.
Yeah.
We need someone to do that.
Maybe Kate will interview.
Yeah, there you
go. Maybe, not me. I don't know. No, but I suppose what I want to hear is how, you know, women have kind of overcome certain obstacles throughout their career, and you know, I do think, maybe I shouldn't say, I think we're more tactful. I think that we should be. Women are, because I think we're more emotionally intelligent generally, and I think, you know, we would probably
careful now, don't have an opinion. Don't have an opinion.
But I think not always, but I think, you know, I suppose I think I'm emotionally attached to my candidates. Not that men aren't, absolutely not, but I think I'm emotionally attached, and I really want to see them do well. You know, honestly, I do, and I get great. Like, I really love when I place someone and I see them doing well and they get back onto me and they're like, thanks, Kate. You know?
On the opposite side, Kate, how do you deal with when they double cross you or not do what they're told, or you don't place them, or like, are you able to just park that and then move on to the next?
You have to be able to.
Yeah, that's tough, isn't it?
Oh, I can't. That's why, like, I do a lot of the operational stuff for us versus the day-to-day kind of recruiting, because I get so emotionally invested in them that then, you know, quite rightfully, a candidate is looking after their own career. That's what they should do. But when it's not what I need them to do, it's like a heartbreak. I can't deal with it.
You know what? I'm so about having the right person in the right job that if it's not right for them, I believe that someone else, that there is someone else there. And I think at the start, because I was thinking about how much work I've put into this and how, you know, how good I think they'd be in the business, I found that difficult at the start. But then I quickly realised, when I was dwelling on that for the last 8 hours, my competitors were ringing everyone else in the market trying to fill that job. So I suppose I kind of quickly, I'm a real, until it's on the dotted line and the commission check is in my bank, it didn't happen early. So I suppose that's
I try and celebrate little wins, and I move on within 10 seconds of stuff not working out. Like, unless we've been...
It's a long process.
And it's tough. We have a lot of stuff that doesn't work out.
I can imagine.
You know, moving people internationally and all the rest.
And because you're probably approaching people who are maybe not active as well, or everyone is active to a certain extent.
Yeah, and everybody thinks they have the balls to go to LA and start again, and they all think they're good enough. But really, there's a lot of comfy wee blankets out there, not earning much money, but you know, life's safe and all the rest. So that's a big risk. It's not for everybody. And then when they don't, I feel disappointed for them. I had a chat this weekend. I was like, "You're making the wrong call, but it's your call. It's not mine.
Yeah.
And I'm not in your shoes."
Do you ever find that they come back to you 6 months later and say, "I should have made that move"?
No, I have a lot of lads that say, I can't move abroad, I've got a girlfriend, and we're pretty serious. I get them coming back to me, single now, make that happen.
Okay.
And same with women as well, actually. That relationship's over, what can you do?
Yeah.
And
circumstances have changed, yeah.
But usually, unless they have that balls to make the move, it's.
Do you know what the other thing as well though is? I've also been in the situation where someone has taken the wrong job, and you know, or I've seen people take the wrong job from them, and they've come back, and it's actually more work than it's worth, is putting someone taking the wrong job, and you have to backfill. Luckily it's happened to me literally in my time, very little. It really has.
We just give the money back.
Yeah.
Like usually it won't happen in our world, because the time they pay us, they get 3-month guarantees nearly done, and if they're moving internationally, there's a lot of checks and balances.
That's
it's a bigger move for them.
Yeah.
Locally, I don't know. I think in rec to rec, if they're going to move, especially in the local market, to be like, it's going to be a considered enough move, and we rarely see a back out, unless it's maybe somebody who's coming from a lesser discipline into something else, and then they're giving it a go. The company knows they're taking a gamble. We kind of know as well, but it might work out and it mightn't, and that happens in hot markets.
Yeah. No, I think now, I think what I've kind of what I try and do, especially the market that I work in, it's really, really fast moving.
Yeah.
And I kind of, what I say to a client is, what I try and do with candidates is get a sense of what they're looking for before I present them with any opportunities. Because I work in the newly qualified accountant space mainly. That would be the main area, and then up to kind of a senior level. But what I would say is that candidate could work on all of the jobs that I'm working on. Now I need to find out what suits them and why, rather than send them out to 15 places and not turn up to half the interviews because they've got a job. And you know, so I suppose getting a sense for them in Dublin, is it location, is it salary, what's most important, what do you like to do, what do you not like to do on a day-to-day basis, and then okay, right, let's shortlist. I can send you 4 jobs, and then you can have 3 interviews and you'll get one of them, great. Rather than, I suppose at that level, it's for me, because it's the selfish thing, maybe it's like I don't want to waste too much time.
Yeah, I've all my administration outsourced.
Yeah.
The rest of the team do it. So I'm not too worried about that. But the longer we've been doing this, the more I've narrowed it from 10 in one market to 4 within each niche.
Yeah.
Mainly because I know the guys and the ladies that can really close the candidate. They can impress upon them. But some people kill me. They don't do, some recruitment firms just can't sell what they do. And and I know they're good, but they can't communicate
Same with
that.
clients though, you know, and you kind of go and we take a walk around the building, and it's the really small things. Like I met a client the other day and they have really good changing facilities and, you know, hair straighteners and hair dryers, and I was like, that's something you want to tell your candidates about, that they can cycle in and still get ready for work when they get there. Like, I mean, it's funny, there are things that people really care about, you know, and they could be the little thing that might push you over the edge on location if you're travelling, you know. So I suppose I always look for them things. But I think also, you know, what I've tried to do is build a good client relationship so that I can pick, I try and have a good understanding of the type of people they hire, and generally I work with the same clients over and over again, so I get a good understanding of what the team looks like, so then I can pick up the phone and say, I met this person today, I think you should meet them, rather than waiting for 2 weeks.
Sounds like you've got a forensic map of every client site that you're working with.
I try to. I mean, if you're...
Is it getting easier the longer you're in the desk?
Definitely. And that was one reason why I nearly left recruitment. About 9 months in, and I remember looking at one of the guys in the office, and he had these clients calling with these jobs, and I remember thinking, this is so unfair. I have so much candidates, but I have nowhere to place them, and because I was struggling with BD, I was in recruitment, whatever, 6 to 9 months, no one knew me or us, and I was struggling to get my foot in the door, and then, you know, I was kind of like, there's nothing I can do here anymore. But then eventually, once you get in and you, as I said, prove yourself, then they'll come back to you again and again. And then what grows with that is your own confidence and how to sell candidates to clients and why, and that's definitely helped. But there was a stage there where I kind of felt, oh, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah. Do you get headhunted often?
Yeah, I would get contacted quite a bit.
What type of approaches? Like, are they phoning you out to your desk?
I've had some interesting ones, and some of them are really just, you know...
Because they all know you. Like, it's a small marketplace, really, like, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is definitely a small marketplace, I think. I would come up against the same companies over and over again, for sure. But I've had some, you know, it depends what day they get you. Rainy Monday. No, I think I've had some interesting ones, and it's kind of talking about a warm desk and someone is leaving, it's ready to go. But for me, to be honest, a big part of, for me, is knowing that I have the flexibility here that I think I find it hard to find elsewhere or be comfortable with it elsewhere.
Well, because you know you've built up the trust, and that, like, see, if somebody, like, if you joined somebody and you were like, look, here's this, you know, I work from home at this time.
But I wouldn't do it. This is the thing. I wouldn't be comfortable going in somewhere and saying I work from home this day, and this day, because I would have just a guilt of because I'd want to prove myself. So, you know, I also want to prove myself to Dara, to my client, to my candidate, and I want to please everyone. So I don't think I could, you know, it depends. It would have to be, I'd have to know what I'm going into. I know down the line I can get certain things. But I think, I think anyone who's been in recruitment for longer than a year is going to be headhunted.
That's a rule we go for.
By Dualta Doherty and Partners.
But no, I think definitely for me, I know at one stage we spoke about kind of management and stuff, but for me, I think billing suits me, and that's what I enjoy, that's what I like. I like the relationship management on all sides, the client and the candidate side. That's something I'm really interested in. I think it's definitely my strength, rather than, I think I'm a good manager, but I don't think I could do both as well as I want to do both.
Okay, so perfectionist.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Well, look, you've been an amazing guest.
Thank you.
You sound
Thanks
like
for
you're
having me.
way better at recruitment than any of us will ever be. Which lucky Dara, hey?
Yeah, well, I definitely think target people coming from food and beverage, retail, and definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, great chat.